Hello, teachers, parents, and educational leaders, and welcome to this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T. Now, during this episode, you will get a peek into the members-only area where I have tons of resources to help you make math fun, make it click, and make it stick. There should be a link somewhere around this video where you can learn more. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to it, and let's break down the standard. Welcome to Breaking Down the B.E.S.T, a video series dedicated to breaking down Florida's B.E.S.T standards for math. So grab something to write with and maybe even a snack. This looks good. And don't forget to put a smile on your face. There you go. I see you. And let's dive into today's B.E.S.T standard. Hey everyone, and welcome. My name is Sarah McCarthy, and I want to thank you for joining me as we break down this standard. This standard today is MA.4.M.1.1, and the standard says to select, which means to choose, and use appropriate tools to measure attributes of objects. And those attributes are the length, the volume, weight, mass, and temperature. This includes digital measurements and scales that are not linear in appearance, kind of like scales that you would see at the grocery store where they're more of a circular shape. I'll point them out, and you're taking on the best resources that come with your membership. And also, when we're recording measurements, we are going to use fractions and decimals where it is appropriate. Let me go ahead and pause real quick because this document that I'm marking up all over is not something that I created. This is something that is provided by the Florida Department of Education. They release it to the public, and in these videos, I'm just showing you how I break down what they provide in order to create resources that are strategically aligned to these standards, okay? All right, so what else do we see? Well, this related benchmark, our horizontal alignment, basically what other standards in 4th grade are related to this one that we're going over today. We have FR.1.2, which is our relating fractions and decimal standard. 1.4 is plotting, ordering, and comparing fractions. GR.1.2 is angle measurements and additive angles. DP.1.1 is representing data, and M.1.2 is our measurement conversions. That's what we'll be going over in the next episode. So where are they coming from? Well, in 3rd grade, they have a benchmark that requires them to measure length, liquid volume, and temperature. And in 5th grade, we have multi-step problems with measurements that involve more challenging conversions than what we're going over today. Okay, this was just a note for me for how I was building your test in the Gold membership. But let's go ahead and take a look at the purpose and instructional strategies section right here. So what jumped out at me? Well, it says that we're going to connect linear measurements to number lines, and we're going to measure customary units to the nearest 1/8 and 1/16 of an inch. So remember that. We're going to use fractions or decimals where it is appropriate to, like that 10 millimeters, that a millimeter is 1/10 of a centimeter. And I made a lot of notes here. I said that this is challenging to do inside of taking on the B.E.S.T, but we need to make time for all of these things. And what am I talking about making time? Well, it's very challenging to perform hands-on activities when it comes to taking on the B.E.S.T, because when you're printing out resources, we need to make sure we're all using the same measurement and so on. However, we need to make sure that we spend time showing students equivalent fractions on a number line and how it connects to rulers and tape measurers. Students need to gain experience measuring things larger than their pieces of paper or their textbooks, so they can make decisions about what tool is the best to measure it. So if you're measuring the length of your classroom, for instance, have students have those conversations about which tool would be the best one to measure it. Also, measuring the same object with different units. Like if we're measuring liquid volume, give students experiences with real-world measuring cups and graduated cylinders. Again, difficult to do in taking on the B.E.S.T, but I do want to point it out because it's so important that they're able to really see what a millimeter looks like, how small of a unit that really is. For mass and weight, give students opportunities to use balances and scales so they understand how they work. and also a temperature, measuring digital and analog thermometers. And here, like nonlinear scales, as weight scales commonly used in grocery stores, and many thermometers. Like I'm thinking of a thermometer that we used to have, not in the pool, but outside to measure the temperature, and it was more of a circular thermometer rather than a vertical number line. Okay, and then we will expand when we get to this standard. We'll be using a different tool. We'll use protractors to measure angles. Again, that's a non-linear scale. It's not perfectly straight across. There is a curve to using a protractor. Okay, what common misconceptions or errors might students have? Well, they might struggle to identify benchmarks on a number line. So we need to make sure that we talk about our answers a lot and complete error analysis and reasoning activities, which Math Misconception Mystery with the silver plan does. And I'll show you the problem for that in just a minute. Then we have some instructional tasks where you can see we're using a decimal there. Definitely take a look at these so you can see what this is like in action. Notice for this one, it's not aligned with the 0, and that we're measuring to the nearest 1/8 of an inch. All right, so those are some examples for what you see there. Let's go ahead and see what you have access to in your membership. So here we are at the website. Let's go to the Members Enter Here tab. Click Taking on the B.E.S.T. You might need to log in. 4th grade. Scroll down to the M strand for measurement. And we are on 4.M.1.1, measuring length, liquid volume, and temperature. Okay, so we open up to your bronze resources. So the bronze, silver, and gold members all have access to this page. These are the video lessons, and these are the topics that we're going to go over. So measuring length, measuring liquid volume, measuring temperature, measuring weight and mass. These are all video lessons, and then right next to the videos are the printables, which I'm going to show you in the silver plan. Okay, bronze members, you do have access to those printables, but when we click on the silver plan to get access to all the printables, they look like this, and it just gives you everything together. So here's your bronze video lesson student guide page. It says list the tools that are appropriate for measuring the length of an object. What is the length of the object to the nearest millimeter? What is the length of the object to the nearest 1/8 and 1/16 of an inch? So here we have a typical looking ruler, and you can see there are 32 marks right there. So the nearest 1/16 would be every other one. And in the video lesson, we go over how to identify those. Okay, and then you have extra practice. After the video lesson, students can practice on their own with a similar type of problem using the notes that they've already written. Then we have another video lesson on measuring liquid volume. So what tools are appropriate for measuring liquid volume? We go over that. We go over a type of question like this. We go over measuring the liquid volume in this measuring cup to the nearest 1/8 of a cup. And then some extra practice. Then we have measuring temperature to the nearest degree. We're using degrees Fahrenheit for this one, but I don't believe that it specifies whether we're using either degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius. I think that both are on the table, so make sure that you have experience with both. Extra practice. Weight and mass. So we talk about what's the difference between weight and mass. Here is a non-linear scale, meaning that it goes in a circle, and we're measuring to the nearest 1/4 of a pound. And then how to use a balance, which again, I really encourage you to break out those balances if you can, so students can experiment with how they work. But we do go over what we can determine from balances in the video lessons. And then there's an extra practice guide. Notice how on this one, the left side of the balance is down, meaning that it's heavier. So we'll go over what that means. Then we have the math mission involving, let's see, we've got liquid volume, we've got temperature. It's a math task that requires more thinking from the student. Then we have the Math Misconception Mystery, which is this video lesson right here. So you just click play, and then I will guide students throughout the whole process, so students will solve on their own, and then they will watch as 4 characters solve that same problem. Those characters are just me dressed up in silly costumes. 3 of the characters will make mistakes that students commonly make, and only 1 of the characters will be correct. So students will have to figure out who is correct and then evaluate the work of the others right here in their detective report. So that's super fun. You also have the answer key right there. And then if you have the gold plan, you can click here. With the gold plan, you can go back to your bronze and your silver resources at any time. The gold members, you have this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T, which goes over the standard. It's right there with all of your resources, and it's ad-free. Now you can find these videos on YouTube as well. They just have ads. But if you are a gold member, you also get a mini assessment, which you can use for a mini assessment, or you can use it for practice. A variety of question types here. Let's see, we're talking about liquid volume, length, weight, mass, and the thermometer, measuring temperature. Another big component is McCarthy Math 155, which is a daily math intervention that's aligned to the Common Core standards. Okay, so even though we're in the B.E.S.T standards, there are still a lot of the Common Core standards that can help to build those confidence muscles with your students. You just have to make sure that you're selecting ones that are appropriate for our new round of standards, okay? Now the 155, that stands for 155 video lessons for each grade level. So when we click on 4th grade, you can see here are the different units. And then you'll see it more when we get into measurement conversions there. You have 9 video lessons for that, but it's not quite what the standard was talking about. But you can see here there's more. When we get to measurement conversions, these will make more sense for that. Okay. Let's go back though, because I think in 3rd grade, if you have access to all 3 of them, which I recommend because there's a lot that you can pull from then. If you go to measurement and data, there are some involving liquid volume, some more mass problems, measuring to the nearest half inch, measuring to the nearest quarter inch. Now for 4th grade, it goes to the nearest 1/8 and 1/16, but this is just a little bit of extra practice to understand how to break up those fractional pieces. Okay. All right, so you can see McCarthy Math 155 gives you a ton of resources that you can use. And I think that is it aligned to this standard with measuring length, liquid volume, and temperature, and weight and mass. I hope that this was helpful for you when we broke down the standard, and now you understand what you have access to that's strategically aligned to the standard. And with that, I want to thank you for all that you do for education. Remember that what you wake up and do every day with your life, it really does matter. Thank you for allowing me to come into your educational space and be a part of your journey. I really, really appreciate that. And I thank you for watching this and allowing me to help you to the best of my ability, okay? All right, I know you're busy and I honor your time, so I will see you next time, all right? Bye. Okay, so I know that I just said goodbye for now, but I'm gonna ask you to do one more thing, okay? If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your teacher friends or other leaders in education. That's how I get to continue doing what I love to do, which of course is supporting you all to the best of my ability. All right, for real now, bye.